over sine divided by cosine drop to here. 1 divided by cosine move to here. So from this upside down triangle to this upside down triangle is just divide these three numbers by cosine. Boom. Okay. Sine divided by cosine is tangent. Cosine divided by cosine cancel 1. And the 1 divided by cosine is reciprocal. So the three vertices divided by cosine simultaneously move to this upside down triangle. So if we divide this identity by cosine squared simultaneously, we certainly have 1 plus tangent squared theta equals secant squared of theta. So the rule of 3 is that for the 3 upside down triangles, the sum of the square of top 2 equals the square of the bottom one. Similarly, if we divide this by sine, move to 1. Divide this by sine, move to this one. Divide this by sine, move to this one. We have cotangent squared theta plus 1 equals cosecant squared of theta. So we have the 3 rules. One is the product of 2 opposite vertices equals 1. Quotient law and reciprocal law. And for this part, anyone is a product of its adjacent 2 vertices. 每一个都是它相应两个地点的乘积。We call this quotient law because tangent equals sine over cosine. Sine equals cosine over is the quotient of cosine and cotangent. Quotient law. 由这个乘积的性质，我们得到了所谓的商数关系，就是任何一个呢，都是它下两个的商，不管是从这边看或者从这边看，都对它。The final one is Pythagorean identities， 就是并式关系，就是平方关系。The sum of squares of 2 horizontal, upside down horizontal vertices equals the bottom one, the square of the bottom one. Okay, so this is some basic algebraic identities. Next, we observe yes. Now, because the 6 trigonometric functions, the independent variable is a real number. We can ask, if this number is replaced by its negative, you obtain the so-called negative angle formulas. Too many formulas, but you can derive all of this easily. Negative angle property a function with this property preserves its negative. It's called an odd function. If unchanged, it's called an even function. Because this is the negative of theta, we also call these formulas negative angle formula. Negative angle formula. Because any other four functions can be expressed in terms of sine and cosine. If r equals 1, then sine equals y naught, cosine equals x naught. So the 6 trigonometric functions can be expressed in terms of x naught and y naught. So can be expressed in terms of sine and cosine. Okay. Why we call an odd function? Later I will explain this further. Consider a unit circle. And the theta is any number, any real number. Maybe positive, maybe zero, maybe negative. No matter where theta is. Oh, theta maybe here. Okay, so this is a theta. Where is the minus theta? Aha, here. And the origin is the midpoint of these 2 points. Okay. So theta and the minus theta, whose sum is 0, means this ray is its bisector. 分角线怎么讲? How to say this one? For a given angle, how to say this line? Bisector? No. Bisector means maybe this one, huh? Okay, anyway, because these 2 angles are the same, so this point and this point will always symmetric with respect to this one. If theta is large, then minus theta is lower, up and lower. Then here, here. Anyway, 2 numbers, if they are negative to each other, then the midpoint of these 2 numbers will be origin. Okay. Similarly, 2 angles are negative to each other, they must a reflection with respect to a horizontal axis. Okay? So, if theta move to here, minus theta will be these 2 points always symmetric with respect to horizontal axis. Okay. So, by the definition of trigonometric functions, if this is a unit circle, then the coordinate of this point can be expressed in terms of theta, namely cosine theta, sine theta. Similarly, the coordinates of this point will be, because this is minus theta, this is cosine minus theta, and the sine minus theta. Now, because these 2 points are symmetric with respect to or about this axis, so the first components will be the same. This obtain this identity. And the second component will be negative to each other. Then this also obtained. OK， 这叫负角动式，只不过是代表这两点永远对称是 x 轴。If theta is negative, then minus theta will be a positive angle. Anyway, these 2 angles, because their sum is 0, so this one is always, it's, how to say, make these 2 angles not the same. Okay, according to this, you certainly can obtain the tangent minus theta equals, because tangent equals sine over cosine. 1 equals 2 over 3. Sine theta equals, tangent theta equals sine theta over cosine. Therefore, tangent minus theta equals sine minus theta over this one equals this one over this one. Okay, and so on. Because any other trigonometric functions always can be expressed in terms of sine and cosine. Okay, why we call a function with this property an odd function? Because if we consider a polynomial function with only odd power, for example, x cubed minus 3 x raised to the 5th power, this function has this property. Odd number, odd number, odd number. Or why we call a function with this property an even function? Even function means if we replace x by its negative, the value unchanged. Unchanged. See? Exponents are even number. Even number, so has this property. That's the reason why we call a function with this property an even number. Because usually a polynomial function whose term with all the even exponents will be a even function. Okay. So here we have 2 terminologies, odd function and even function. We just give a function with this property a name. Function with this property with a name. Odd function and even function for convenience sake. So every time when you hear someone say, oh, cosine is an even function, you realize cosine satisfies this unchanged, the value unchanged. Sine function is an odd function. Oh, you know, preserve negation, a negative. Okay. Sign minus, then they can put minus in front of sign. 所以奇函数跟偶函数呢，就是一个名称嘛。一个函数能够保存相反数，就是说先取负号再用作用，会等于先之后再取负号。Because if this is x-axis and this x is y-axis, then the coordinate of this point will be, oh sorry, my mistake. 1, 0, you're right, I'm left. Yes, you're right. Okay, so we just give a function with this property a name. For convenience sake, once we hear some functions and even function we know, if we take negative first, then apply this function and the value is unchanged. But here, take negative first, then sign equals, take sign first, then negative, preserves negative operation. Okay. Next, let's consider